Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Sade. If you're new here, thank you so much for coming along. Hopefully you might want to subscribe by the end of the video. And if you've come back for another one, then thank you so much. I appreciate it. Today's video is really exciting. We've got some more DIYs. Whoop, whoop, whoop. I'm trying to get these out as quickly as I can, guys, but I don't know. I feel like I take too much on, but we have got 3 Facebook Marketplace flips that I've got for you. So I've been on Facebook Marketplace over the last few months and I've picked up some pieces that I thought, hey, let's flip them. I've got loads more to come, by the way. This is just 3 that I've picked out. So I've got 2 mini projects and then I've got a larger project towards the end. Something that you can see behind me isn't quite finished yet because I'm waiting on something to finish and then I can put it on, but you will see this finished and you're gonna get the full breakdown of how I do that. So before we get into the video, please don't forget to like and subscribe. If you're watching on your TV, you can still do it. Just find the more options by using the up arrow, get the 3 dots, and then you can scoot on over to subscribe and like. It really helps me out and I appreciate it so much. And drop me a comment whilst you're watching and let me know what your favourite DIY was, if you would have done something better, so that if people are going to recreate this, they can find a better way to do it or a cheaper way, etc. But anyway, I'm going to stop waffling. Let's get into the video. Here's project number 1. So I said you were going to get 3 projects. You're actually going to get 5 in this video. However, 2 of them were flops, this being one of them, but I thought I'd share them with you anyway because why not? We all fail sometimes. I wanted to create some DIY gorgeous fluid looking art, so I took inspiration from this picture. I have linked it here for you so you can check it out if you want to. I ended up picking up some material from a local material shop near me and we got things going. The canvas I picked up on Facebook Marketplace and it's about 1 metre by 75 centimetres and I got it for £10, which I think is really good for the size of it. In order to start things off, I secured down at both sides by using a staple gun and then I just drooped the material through the middle. To create this nice smooth wave effect, I decided to go in with some all-purpose glue. You'll see in a second it just doesn't look right, and where I've pushed it down to secure it, it looks really it doesn't look great at all, so I ended up ripping it off and trying a new technique. I ripped all of it off before it decided to dry down properly, and it did leave a little bit of a crease effect in there, but I decided to just kind of drop the material in this artistic way. I don't know. I thought I was doing something at the time. This is why I kind of rated this a fail, although you'll see in a bit it didn't look that bad, but I decided to super glue down random bits and just see if I could make something with this material. The final step was just to secure all of the edges using some more staples, but I really want to know what you think of this. I'm going to show you the final piece in a second, so leave me a comment down below. Project number 2, this has to be my favourite project in the video. So I decided I wasn't going to be defeated by that first canvas and I was going to get that effect that I wanted. I ended up using another canvas that I got from Facebook Marketplace and I used this picture instead. So I'd opted for a much finer and thinner material that I again got from a local material store near me, but I covered the entire canvas in PVA glue. I thought this would be great because A, it's going to help me to bind that material to the canvas underneath without me having to worry about staples and gluing in random places, but it was also going to help create an almost liquidy effect underneath that would help to create those ripple waves that I was looking for. Just a tip for you, if you've got a colourful canvas underneath and then a quite fine and light coloured material on top, you're going to probably want to spray that down with a white spray paint or whatever colour that you are putting the material on top with, because mine did peek through a little bit. However, this was the easiest DIY ever. Honestly, the PVA glue underneath really helped to create those ripple effects. All I'm doing is pulling the material, pinching it a little bit to create like a hump, and then pressing it down so that I get rid of any extra air, and then just making sure that it's symmetrical through the middle and I've got that kind of random but defined waviness that I'm looking for. I wanted to make this DIY art look as sophisticated and professional as I possibly could. I decided to make the frames again that I made in my last DIY video. If you haven't watched that, I will link that on screen for you so you can go watch that afterwards. This is really simple. I headed to B&Q and picked up some softwood strip wood. This stuff measures 6mm by 36mm, so it's these really thin pieces of wood, and then I mitered them at a 45-degree angle using my Works miter saw, but you could use a miter box if you don't have one of those. I'll link one of those down for you below as well. I just added a little bit of glue to each of the ends of the strips to bind the corners together, and then I used my trusty band clamp. I love this thing, I've used it so much since buying it. I got this from Amazon, I'll link it down below for you as well, but it just helps to square things off. It really takes the thinking out of tasks like this, which is amazing. But anyway, this is what the final piece looks like. Let me know what you think. Project number 3 is another flop. I wanted to do an expanding foam DIY. I had this foam for ages, and I picked up this mirror from Facebook Marketplace, which I couldn't find anywhere to put in the house, so I wanted to create this. Upon reflection, I don't think the expanding foam is the right material, so if you know of something that would work better, let me know down below. But in order to do this, to work with expanding foam, you're going to want to wet the surface area and then just spray it on, and I didn't realise how much it expanded. It literally like quadruples in size. I tried to spread it, didn't work. Honestly, entire thing was a flop. I'll let you watch.
Oh, I need someone to love me. Oh, I need someone to love me. Oh, I need someone to love.
I was putting it on too thick to begin with and we ran out, but afterwards I tried to spread it around and this happened. Honestly, it was a catastrophe. Looking at it now, it clearly expands, so I might try and do this again in the future, but I was thinking something like cement would work better to create that fluid effect. Let me know down below. Next successful project, I actually really enjoyed this one. This one is super simple, by the way, and would be a really nice gift idea, I think, for Christmas. I picked up a bag of wooden plain blocks and I wanted to create a candlestick effect with them. So I had, I think, 8 of them in this similar size, but I wanted the candlesticks to be different sizes. So I opted for 4 on one side, 3 on the other side. That equals 7, Sade, not 8. So that is how I stacked them. I decided to go with a kind of basic straight up and down design rather than a funky one, and sanding them down meant that the wood glue would adhere the wood blocks together a little bit better. So that's all I did. I did that and then I let it dry overnight. When all was dry the next day, I took a flat drill bit and I measured it up against the bottom end of the candlestick to make sure that I was drilling a wide enough hole to place the candlestick in the candle block. Because we'd used wood glue, I wanted to make sure that there was none seeping out the side, so I ended up sanding everything down just once more and painting everything in this black colour, which dries quite matte, and I really love how it worked. Just a little tip from me that I've been doing recently: instead of rinsing my brushes out every time I use them every night, I wrap them in a cling film bag if I know I'm going to be using them for several days for projects. This actually keeps the paint paint and it doesn't dry them out, and it just works a lot better. Final project, this is also the biggest project, which took the longest, but I think it really paid off in the end, so make sure that you stick around so that you see the final product. I started off by taping off the cane. I got this chair for £5 from Facebook Marketplace, cannot believe it, and I saw potential in it, so especially considering it's a cane product as well, those things are not cheap. I ended up using some of the yellow frog tape. It's a more delicate frog tape to tape off the cane because I didn't want to split it when I ripped it off, and any of the hardware as well. I mean, I think I spilt more on the table than I actually put on the chair, but I ended up using some sugar soap. Now, sugar soap is fantastic. It helps to remove any grease, grime, any contaminants before you paint. I always sugar soap stuff down before I paint them. And then it depends on what sort of paint you're using. I'm using the Frenchic paint Lazy range in the colour Loof, which is a really deep black colour. This has got an inbuilt primer and wax finish on top, so you actually only have to paint the chair. You don't have to do much else. I knew this chair wasn't going to get a lot of, I was going to say action, that sounds a bit funny. I knew this chair wasn't going to get a lot of traffic. It's more of an aesthetic chair. It looks pretty in the corner. No one really sits on it. Had it been a dining room chair, I would have sanded it down, but I decided to just paint on top using the Frenchic paint. This is how she was looking after 2 layers of paint. What a beauty. We could have left her like this, but I wanted to go that extra step, so I ended up picking up some of this material from the range. It's called wadding, I think. It's essentially a soft but thick material that you can use to line things before covering with your outer fabric or material. I use my staple gun as a secure way to bind that wadding to the bottom of the chair in the most inconspicuous place I thought I could put it, cut off the excess, and I started to work on my boucle material. I got the boucle from an Etsy store, I will link it down below for you, so I just cut that down and trimmed off any excess wadding. I then went in with my Gorilla Glue sticks in my glue gun, and just to secure it down on top initially, I also went in with some fabric glue. This is a little bit more malleable, so it's not as stiff as hot glue when it dries, so it actually feels like comfortable when you're sitting on it. So I used that to bind the two together, but I used the hot glue sticks just to create that initial secure binding of the materials to the chair. When it dries, hot glue isn't actually very forgiving on materials, so I cut off the excess as close to the hot glue set that I could, and then I ended up going in with some thread just to bind it all together and to make it look as seamless as possible. I didn't feel like the chair was quite finished. It felt quite open and vast in that space underneath the boucle, so I wanted to go in and add another rod across, but you'll see that I drilled through without thinking and I ended up snapping one side of the chair, but it's fine, we fixed it and I will show you how we did that. But if you're going to do this yourself, do not drill all the way through from one side to the other. Instead, get as close to the other side as you possibly can. Then bring your drill to the other side and then go in to finish off the job. It just creates a much more seamless finish. I swear my mitre saw is my new best friend. I use it like 3 times a week. It's amazing. If you've got like a reno or a big project in your house, grab a mitre saw from Works. Honestly, they are so useful. Anyway, back on track. I ended up using some of the wood glue just to secure that wood in place. And then to fix the other side, I had some small bits of wood and sawdust from when I drilled that chair. So I picked them all up and I added some wood glue. This was going to create a paste, a kind of like wood filler wood glue paste. So I filled it all in, let it dry overnight to make sure that it was fully dry, and then I came back and sanded it down in the morning. I cannot explain to you how amazing that combination of the wood, sand, dust and the glue was. It's so strong and it created such a flush finish. It was like it was never ever broken. Okay guys, that is it for the video. I really hope that you enjoyed that. I absolutely loved creating those pieces. I just love doing anything DIY, anything that just like upcycling, making something loved and new again is just my forte. I love it so much. You guys are loving it over on Instagram as well. You're tagging me in all of your upcycles and your recreations and your Facebook flips, etc. So keep on tagging me. If you do recreate any of these, I'm thinking that the picture is going to be like one that you guys are going to want to recreate. If you do end up recreating anything, then please do tag me. I honestly love sharing them to my stories and seeing them. It fills me with so much joy. Anyway guys, if you haven't already, like the video, subscribe to my channel. I'm speaking a million miles an hour. I'm so sorry for that. Thank you so much for watching. I so appreciate it. I will see you in the next one. Take care. Bye. Mwah.